We're doing it anyway.
Okay.
And we may have the co-defendant joining us.
I see.
And I'm guessing it would be the victim's family. All right, there we go. All right, what did I try? We're trying to do 5 north.
5 north.
Yeah, I just got a bad, there we go. All right, who do we have there in 5 north?
Gary Adkins.
Hey, Mr. Adkins, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I am okay. Ms. Beza, you are covering this for Ms. Hall?
Yes, Your Honor.
Great. And who's representing Mr. Adkins?
Your Honor, that will be my case.
Good afternoon, Ms. Patel.
Afternoon.
Mr. Adkins, today's your plea and arraignment day. I'm going to ask Ms. Patel, who is your lawyer in connection with these charges, whether she's waiving arraignment or whether I need to read your charges formally into the record.
Your Honor, we will be waiving arraignment. In addition, I did file a bond motion and I gave Ms. Hall notice of that motion that I'd like to have heard today.
Ms. Beza, are you in a position to argue the bond motion for the state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Great. Well, let's do that. Let me get one thing. Ms. Rivers, are you with us?
Yes, I am, Judge, on the
Great.
record.
You're very nimble bouncing from one calendar to the next. All right, well, we're going to go on the record in Mr. Adkins's case. It's 21 SC 178589. Mr. Adkins, Ms. Patel has waived arraignment in your case. All that means is she's entering a not guilty plea for you on your behalf, and we'll make sure she gets discovery and shares that with you, and your case will start moving towards whatever its ultimate resolution is, a trial, a plea, a dismissal. We'll see. We're going to talk about bond now. I'm going to hear from Ms. Patel why you should get a bond. I'll hear from Ms. Beza, who is the prosecutor handling the case for right now, what she thinks about bond. She may agree with Ms. Patel. And then I'll tell you what I'm going to do. And you'll know before you leave your booth there. Mr. Adkins, I want to make sure first that you are comfortable moving forward with a bond hearing with your attorney not at your side, but instead appearing virtually. Are you all right with that?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
You also are not here in court with me. You have a right to be in open court. You are in a booth at the jail where you're currently housed. Do you waive your right to be present in court? Okay. When you're ready, Ms. Patel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Adkins is 37 years old. He is a lifelong Atlanta resident. He currently lives with his wife and his 4 children at 2445 Elizabeth Ann Lane. That is a family-owned home that my client lives in with his family that's located in the Buckhead area. He does work. Prior to his arrest, he worked, and should he be released, he could go back to his previous place of employment, which is Supreme Skills Construction. He worked there as an operations manager, and he's been there since 2018. Prior to that, he worked as an apartment locator for a real estate company, helping renters find apartments. I do not believe my client is on probation. I only know of one previous conviction that he has.
Sorry, I must have missed it.
Hold on one sec. Hold on one sec. I may need to mute.
I apologize about that, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. We're good. Keep going.
He did attend Clark Atlanta, where he studied criminal justice for 3 years. He unfortunately did not graduate, but he is a high school graduate. Without getting into too much of the facts, Your Honor, I will say that this was a situation in which my client acted in self-defense, and his wife is on this call. She is the sister of the complaining witness in this case, and this incident did occur on my client's property. My client has no issue with any stay away conditions, any sort of curfew that would be in place as long as my client could go to work. He is the sole provider for his family, and his wife just had a child last week. She was pregnant at the time of this incident, which was partially part of the reason that things had escalated at this location. And I spoke with my client about a bond that that would be reasonable for him. Currently, he's on no bond status. We'd ask for a $10,000 bond through the sheriff's 10% program. He is comfortable with Your Honor placing whatever condition Your Honor deemed appropriate in terms of pretrial services. But I believe that my client would be a good candidate to have a bond placed in this matter. Thank you.
So the person who was allegedly shot, who is a Mr. Sanders, you're saying is your client's brother-in-law?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the shooting, if it happened, happened at this home on Elizabeth Ann Lane in Buckhead? Or
yes,
on
Your Honor. My client's house, correct.
Okay. Then I followed all that. Ms. Crawford, do you have any felony criminal history for Mr. Adkins?
Good afternoon, Judge McBurney. He does not have anything active and open at the moment.
Okay, but do you have anything? I'm curious, like if he's a felon, he shouldn't have had the gun, which makes the case more complicated for him.
Okay, give me 1 second to pull it up.
It's not alleged in the indictment, so I assume the state would have found if there was a felony conviction, but just want to know what your records show.
Okay. So the history shows that he has 2 prior felony charges out of Kentucky. The first one being burglary, and the second charge also being burglary, and they're from 2011 from the state of Kentucky.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Ms. Beza.
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, the state, well, first and foremost, I will say that the state will be requesting no bond in this matter. As a quick preliminary allegations in this case, on May 2nd of 2021, the defendant, who was the victim's brother-in-law, was visiting the defendant and his sister at their residence. They engaged in a verbal dispute, and as the victim was leaving the location, the defendant pulled out a handgun and fired 1 shot, striking the victim in both of his legs. It was through the left leg and then grazed the right leg. The victim then continued to leave the location and tried to further leave and run away from the defendant. And then the victim struck a telephone pole while he was fleeing from the defendant. The victim called 911 and was transported to Grady Hospital for treatment. The defendant's wife and the victim's sister, Angel Adkins, witnessed the incident and told the police that the defendant shot the victim in this case. Now, the state will be asking for no bond, and in focusing on the Ayala factors, this defendant is likely to intimidate the victim in this case. They do know each other. That is his brother-in-law. These are very serious allegations which involve a deadly weapon. They do not live together, but they do know each other, and he does know where the victim lives, as they are brother-in-laws. The state firmly asks the courts and requests the court to consider no bond in this matter, given the serious allegations of this case and given the defendant's likelihood to intimidate the witnesses.
Okay. Ms. Patel, anything you want to say in rebuttal as the movant?
Yes, Your Honor, just briefly, in response to some of the facts alleged, Ms. Atkins is on this call. Essentially, the vehicle that Mr. Sanders was using to leave the location belongs to his mother. That was the vehicle that my client picked Mr. Sanders up at. They were supposed to go to a relative's party. Mr. Sanders allegedly wanted to leave the location under the influence. They tried to stop him. In the process, my client's wife, who's 7 months pregnant at the time, was dragged by the vehicle. A verbal dispute did occur. It's my client's contention that Mr. Sanders had a gun in his backpack and that he was reaching for that. My client is not disputing the fact that he did shoot at Mr. Sanders. He's just stating that it was to try to get him away from him and his wife, and that he intentionally shot him in the leg to try to basically as a warning shot of sorts.
Okay.
Your Honor, sorry.
No, I was going to turn back to you because I forgot to ask Ms. Beza if there were any victim impact statements that you wanted to relay, because of course I need to receive those as well. I pivoted too soon back to Ms. Patel, and it was important for Ms. Patel to share what she shared. And I'll let both sides know we're not working out what happened right now, and I've got some pretty clear thoughts about how I think this should proceed, but I want to make sure that Mr. Sanders or any representative of Mr. Sanders feels like they've been heard, and certainly they've been well represented. Not that you represent the victims, but Ms. Beza has shared with me some of that. But I overlooked the piece of, is there a victim impact statement?
There's no victim impact statement. However, it is my understanding that the victim right now is on the call. The victim in this case is very cooperative, and would like to mention and put on the record that he was not drinking and did not have a gun, doesn't even own a gun. Okay.
All right. Well, again, we're not going to sort all that out. It sounds like something real unfortunate happened on May 2nd. I'm going to deny the motion for bond at this point. If we need to have an immunity motion, we should do that. That will give me an opportunity to hear sworn testimony about what happened or didn't happen. And the immunity motion might result in the charges going away. Even if that's not the end result, it will put me in a much better position to assess whether bond is appropriate or not. But I do not find that Mr. Adkins is a risk of flight, but I am concerned about the safety of the community, as well as the general well-being of potential witnesses in this case, given the little bit that I've heard about it. Taking no side as to was it provoked or not, it sounds like Mr. Adkins informally acknowledges through counsel he had a gun, it was loaded, he pointed it at another human being and pulled the trigger, and fortunately no one is dead. We're not going to let it get worse than that until I hear more, if that's the route that Ms. Patel wants to go in the form of an immunity motion. If that's not where it's heading, then there may be some other proceeding we have where I can receive sworn testimony about what happened on May 2nd on Elizabeth Ann Lane. But based on what I've got right now, I'm going to maintain the no bond status. Mr. Adkins, Ms. Patel will get the discovery. If she hasn't already, she will share it with you. And if she feels that the right next step is to file motions on your behalf, be it an immunity motion, a suppression motion, a renewed bond motion, she'll do that. And that will be a reason for us to get back together again. Thank you.
Next is position 8 on the same floor.
All right, before we go to position 8, Ms. Nelson, do we have an update on Mr. Webb?
Yes, Judge, I have given him the information. He said he was heading back to his office. He'd be there in about 5 to 10 minutes. I also sent him the link, so I'll resend that to make sure he has it.
Okay, thank you for doing that. Did he provide any explanation as to why he was not already on our call?
Judge, I think he may have misunderstood and was calling about tomorrow's calendar, but I will revisit and make sure that we had the same conversation because he saw Miss Bryant listed as the attorney, so that's what he was going with.
Okay, I'll cover that with him when he joins us. Thank you.
All right.
Number 8, did you say, Lieutenant Dooley?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's also on the 5th floor?
It is also 5 North.
Okay, so 5 North is empty right now.
Sorry, the guy should have told the other one to come in, or they should have known.
Okay,
Let me call.
All right.
Get him back in. But we can go to,
I've got 5 South, I've got 2 North. I'll go wherever you want me to go. I see a bunch of folks.
is 6 South in? Yes. 6
Yep.
South, please. Position number 7.
Okay. I think 6 is there, 7.
I'm sorry, I think I misspoke, but you can do him.
Do 6 South?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what position is that?
That is 6 South. Yeah, position number 7. I wrote it down twice. Sorry. 6
Okay.
South, position number 7.
We'll go live. Let me figure that one out. 6 South. Hey, whoa, that's loud. Hey, 6 South, who do we have?
DeAndre Pittman.
Mr. Pittman, our add-on. How are you doing, sir?
Good.
Mr. Pittman, your mother is here in court. We just did the arraignment of your co-defendant, Mr. Sanders. You and I spoke last week, and we need to figure out what's going on with a lawyer for you. Were you planning on retaining your own, hiring someone, or do we need to get someone appointed to represent you?
Get someone appointed.
Okay. Ms. Patel, I know you were gracious enough to work with Mr. Pittman a little bit when he came by. Do you have an update on what's happening?
Yes, Your Honor. I did look into the conflict, and it seems like our office did have communication with the co-defendant up until last month. So Mr. Pittman has a CP case. A conflict was filed on that and approved. The form was filed for this case. I sent it in last week. It's pending. I'm just not sure whether Mr. Webb would be appointed or a C3 would.
Who makes that decision?
Conflict Defender's Office.
Okay.
I wasn't sure why Mr. Sanders went to a C3 instead of Mr. Webb. So I'm not sure if there's some third tier conflict with Mr. Sanders's other cases, and that's why Mr. Webb might not get it.
Got it. So, Mr. Pittman, that was a lot of legalese and structureese about making sure you get a lawyer who can represent you with no conflict, someone who hasn't already represented your co-defendant, who couldn't share with you information that he or she learned from Mr. Sanders, or anyone else involved or purportedly involved in your case. So they're figuring that out, and then someone will be appointed to represent you. We will get that someone to meet with you and get you back here either virtually like you are today or in person to handle this whole arraignment piece so we can get your case moving along, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you will learn that when either that lawyer shows up to meet you or you're put in one of these booths again or brought over to the courthouse, and that'll be when you connect with your lawyer and we get started. But that will happen in days, not weeks or months, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Hold on one sec. Do you represent him? I do. She's having a Feretta hearing, unless he's not having a Feretta hearing.
I was in the council in the place, I was making sure I'm right.
So you were, and then the public defender was representing him, and he is wanting to be done with them. So you're welcome to stay, but you are.
I received those 3 years.
Appreciate you doing that, but you are good to go. Thanks for flagging it. Good seeing you. All right, Lieutenant Dooley, who's next?
5 South, position number 10.
Dontavius Barber.
Good afternoon, Judge Leah Madden here on behalf of Mr. Barber.
All right, Ms. Madden, there's something on your screen at the bottom. It's real fuzzy.
Yes, I know. I don't know what it is. It literally just started yesterday. So this week
Okay.
I'm going to take it and figure out.
No
what's
problem.
going on.
Let me get Mr. Barber active here, though. I heard 5 South, but I thought it says here 2 South. Let's see if this is it. 5 South.
That's it.
That's Mr. Barber, Judge.
Okay, I just unmuting him. Mr. Barber, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good afternoon. I'm Judge McBurney.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Barber, we have your lawyer, Ms. Madden, on this call. Ms. Beza, are you handling this for the state?
Yes, Your Honor.
So I assume Ms. Hall is bringing you back a really, really big gift basket from wherever she is?
Yeah, she's at a mandatory meeting with Madam DA.
All right, she better. So, Mr. Barber, you are on for a probation revocation, and I'm playing catch up on my paperwork, but now I have it on my screen. Ms. Madden, is this a contested revocation hearing? We'll get all this on the record, but just so I know what's going on here.
Well, Judge, it's my understanding primarily it's just new charges. He was arrested on August 10th for a new aggravated assault case. I looked on the petition. Officer Crawford was kind enough to email it to me, and it looks like he has a $5 arrearage, but I suspect that the main issue is the felony charges.
That's right. So let's get on the record with this, and then we'll figure out it may be that we're putting this on hold. So this is position 10 at 16 SC 146497, State versus Dontavius Barber. Mr. Barber, I signed a petition or a warrant for your arrest from probation. The allegation is that in March of this year, you committed aggravated assault and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon here in Fulton County. Sounds like you were arrested on those charges in August, and now you're in the jail. And then you are allegedly $5 in arrear on your fines. I'm not going to worry about that. These new charges are the primary basis that the state is seeking to revoke your probation. Ms. Madden, is this something you and Ms. Beza or you and Ms. Hall had a chance to discuss? Is this something that you want a chance to discuss, or do you know already that we ought to set this down for an evidentiary hearing or
Judge,
final option?
We were chatting back and forth, in the direct message.
Mhm.
I don't know anything about the facts of the case. My client doesn't either. As you indicated, the incident purportedly happened in March, but he wasn't arrested until sometime later. He had been on non-reporting probation. I was just retained, so I really need to get with the DA. I don't know if I was going to file a motion for a preliminary hearing, or if she has any idea when it's going to go to grand jury. That probably will, guide my decision making.
Sure. So I'm looking at the CP case. Bond was denied on the 10th of August, but that was only the day after arrest. So it's still pretty fresh on the DA side. What I'm comfortable doing is resetting this a bit so that Ms. Madden, your very reasonable request can be granted. You can learn more about these underlying charges. You and Mr. Barber can talk more, and we can figure out, is this one where the revocation will follow the new charges, which to me is not the most efficient way of doing it, but that's sometimes what happens, or do the new charges prompt the state to say, we're ready for an evidentiary hearing? We'll call one witness, preponderance of the evidence standard. We think we can prove this up. But it sounds like, Ms. Madden, you and Ms. Hall, who will be the ADA carrying this forward after today, ought to talk after you and maybe Ms. Hall learns more about the underlying, this aggravated assault. Does that work for you?
That's fine, Judge. I will reach out to Ms. Hall, I guess. Do you all know if when she'll be back in the office?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay. I'll reach out to her.
Yeah, I think she's just stuck in a meeting that pulled her away from this calendar. And we won't reset this forever. I'll just think we'll push it out a few weeks so that you can get more information. And given that you were recently retained, talk with Mr. Barber about his options. And then we'll just need to know, are we setting it down for an evidentiary hearing, or are we setting it down because the two parties have sorted something out?
Thank you, Judge. I will send an email to Ms. Hall, and then once we figure it out, then I'll get in touch with Ms. Nelson about getting this on another calendar.
Okay. Mr. Barber, we did a lot of talking and you did all the listening. Do you have any questions about what we just discussed?
No.
Okay. So you want to reach out to Ms. Madden. She'll be reaching out to you to learn a little bit more. But it sounds like the possible reason for the revocation, these new charges, are things that everyone needs to learn a little bit more about before they can give you any advice as to what makes the most sense moving forward. Okay?
Okay.
All right. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
We're going back to 5 North, Judge. Position 8 is in place.
Thank you. Mr. Webb, are you on the call now?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I was muted. I'm here.
Thank you for joining us.
Sure. I'm sorry about the mix-up on that.
Well, you need to know going forward, if you get a calendar from Ms. Nelson and any case on there has the name of a conflict defender, current or former, you should assume that that's your case. If it says Mary Beth Snyder, that's you. If it says Kenya
Yes, sir.
Bryant, that's
Yes,
you.
sir.
If it says John Oden, that's you. Dennis Francis, that's you. You are expected to cover anything that says conflict defender on it.
Yes, sir. I think what happened in this instance is the calendar came in a secure encrypted message, and I clicked on it, but I couldn't open it. And I guess I failed to follow up and get whatever code I needed to do to open that.
All right, well, two things on that, and then we're going to move to the position that Lieutenant just mentioned. One, I'm not aware of Ms. Nelson ever sending a secure encrypted message, so that's a strange one. But
I can
two,
show.
if you get something from Ms. Nelson and you can't open it, call her and she'll send you a version that is not secure and encrypted.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. We're going to
Okay.
go to position 8 now, I think was what we heard.
Yes, sir.
All right. In 6, my calendar says 8 is in 2 South.
That's not correct.
Okay. Where do you want me to go?
5 North, 107.
5 North. Got it.
There we go.
Is this Mr. Brown?
Yes, it's me.
How you doing, Mr. Brown?
How you doing, sir?
I'm okay. Who is representing Mr. Brown for this revocation?
I am, Your Honor, for Ms. Wood. sitting
Great.
for Ms. Wood.
Let me call up his petition.
We were trying to do a global resolution. He has 3 CP numbers that he waived indictment on, so I don't know if those have been finished.
Okay. Ms. Beza, were you able to hear Ms. Primovic?
Yes.
So I see 1 CP number. I trust you that there are 2 more.
Yes, Your Honor.
So your hope, Ms. Primovic, or objective is to get all the CPs accused, and then Mr. Brown is prepared to enter pleas to those in conjunction with a revocation.
Correct.
All right. Ms. Beza, do you have any insight into getting the 3 complaints accused?
I do have a note that ADA Hall, that is the plan for them to be accused, and there to be a global resolution on all the cases. As for timeline, I do not have a timeline of when that would happen. I would at least ask for about 2 weeks for ADA Hall to get the accused.
Tell me the process. If an ADA is informed by a defense attorney, hey, I want to resolve this active case, and by the way, I'd like to resolve these unindicted cases, and the resolution is acceptable to the state. Does the ADA have to move heaven and earth to get authority to accuse?
No.
Or does it not even go to the ADA? There's a mystery accusation unit that has to do these things?
I believe, and I'm confirming, I believe that ADA Hall it's like she's going to work on it this weekend, and I believe it's just a waiver.
Okay.
Has to happen, and then she can actually do it. She said this week, she can do it by the close of the week. So it's not heaven and earth, it's something she does at her desk.
Okay.
So the global resolution could in essence happen next week.
Okay. And it won't. I mean, I'll be in trial next week, but I just wanted, because if the timeline was 6 months, then we should get Mr. Brown to sort out this matter. But it makes a whole lot of sense to put everything into one package so that he's not getting dragged back in here for the next case and then the next case. And that's great to hear that if there is a waiver from a defendant and approval from a supervisor, then the line ADA can do what ought to happen. Part of the new administration. Amen to that. Okay. So Mr. Brown, let me tell you what's happening, and then I'm happy to answer as best I can any questions you have. The prosecutor handling your cases is busy, as we all are. She is prepared to charge officially your 3 unindicted cases. Does she have a waiver from you, Ms. Primovic? Okay.
It has been filed. The waiver has been
Fantastic.
filed.
So there's a waiver out there. She's got what she needs.
Yes, sir.
She will take care of it, and we will get you, Mr. Brown, back on our next available calendar. It may be virtual like this, where you're in a booth. It may be that you get brought over, because that's a sooner date that we bring you over here. And then it sounds like you're prepared to enter, assuming you don't change your mind, guilty pleas in 3 cases. Am I doing the count right? Is it 3? It's 3 cases.
Yes.
And that will also involve taking care of your revocation. So I have no idea if that sentence is you go to jail for 100 years or you just get 100 hours of community service, but whatever that sentence is, it'll clear up all your open matters. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
Okay, then that's what we're going to do. I'm going to give the state that little bit more time. If they're not able to get it done in that amount of time, then we'll just go forward with your revocation. I don't mean for you to be stuck forever, okay?
All right.
All right, thank you, sir.
You want to put the judgment early?
We have-
All right,
Ready?
what's next?
Position 7, Loomis is on 6 North, but the camera's not open.
Let me see if I can help with that. 6 North, all right.
And I hope he's there.
We'll find out. Six North, booth 1.
We should look when I get out of court, only because they can see you behind me.
It's currently changed, but Jeremy says it's inactive.
All right, 6 North is now on, Lieutenant Dooley. It's empty. The camera's on. No one's in 6 North.
I called the floors. They're gonna get him up there shortly. Can we move
Great.
on to 4 South 400 and do Christopher James? He's position number 5 and 6.
Yep.
Oh, well, there he is.
Oh,
You wanna stay with-
4 South. There we go. All right. Mr. James, can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor, I can hear you.
Great. Judge McBurney here. Good afternoon. We've got Mr. Hudson, who is seated at defense counsel table. And you've got 2 cases on today's plea and arraignment calendar. Mr. Hudson, have you sorted out, you and I had a chance to talk before the calendar started, and I've got your name down for handling the 19 SC case. There's a 21 SC case ending in 791. And attorney of record, it says, is a Robert Booker. Are you now Robert Booker? Do you have the case ending in 791?
Unless that is one of the CP cases that was recently indicted, I do not.
Okay.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
I was Mr. Ed Adam representing me. He's on screen.
Oh, well, look at that. Let's figure that out. Hey, Mr. Adams, how are you?
Doing fine. How you doing, John?
I am well. I'm going to get rid of the spotlight so we can see you when you talk. So, Mr. Adams, I've got 2 cases for Mr. James. One that is a 2019 indictment that alleges possession of marijuana with intent to distribute, and then a 21 SC case, so a much newer one that alleges a couple counts of aggravated battery. Are you handling both those cases for Mr. James?
Yeah, I understand Mr. James has 4 cases total, and I will be representing him on all of them. I didn't know who represented him on the other 2, but I will be representing him. I think the entry was filed. If not, I will file one today.
All right, well, let me check on those because I will want you to do that. That will relieve Mr. Hudson of a responsibility to come back down here. Let's see, the older case. It's coming up slowly. You mentioned 4 cases, and I only have 2 on my calendar. Are 2 of the cases unindicted?
I believe so, yes, sir.
Okay. So there's no entry of appearance from you in the older case. I've got the substitution of counsel that got Mr. Hudson on the case, which was done about a month ago. So you're going to need to get in the mix on that one. I assume that's going to be transferred to us. It actually lists it as a non-complex case. So I don't know why it's on our calendar, because it's
And
on
what
here.
number, what's the case number on that one?
It's 19 SC 166177, and that's in the non-complex division. So maybe it's going to jump to us because of the next case we're going to talk about. '21 SC 178791 is very new. The indictment was handed down less than a month ago. Again, no entry of appearance from Mr. Adams, and it charges Mr. James with shooting Christopher Scott. So that one is out there. I don't have any other cases on my calendar. And like I said, one of the cases on my calendar says it's a non-complex case. But Mr. Adams, it sounds like you're in. Whatever the cases are, there are 4 of them out there, and you are Mr. James's lawyer.
Yes, that's right. Yes,
Okay. Is Mr. James waiving arraignment?
we'll waive arraignment, John.
Okay. So here's what's going to happen. Ms. Nelson will send you, Mr. Adams, a waiver of arraignment form. If you'll fill that out, that may also serve as your entry of appearance. I can't remember exactly how the forms work, but that will be the formal waiver of arraignment. We'll figure out if this 19 SC case is also ours. Ms. Beza, are you aware? I keep hearing about these 2 other cases. Are they unindicted cases?
It appears to be 3 unindicted cases, and I can go through the CP numbers.
No, I don't need them.
But yes, they're unindicted at this time, 3 of them.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. James, you've been following us as we've been talking about this?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So you're right. Mr. Adams is your lawyer. He's going to file a few more things that he needs to file. And that'll get the cases that are assigned to me moving along. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I think we're good. Mr. Adams, anything else on behalf of Mr. James?
No, yeah,
All right. Thank you.
thank you.
Mr. Hudson, you're free to go. You are, of course, on this case until you're not on it. You know how it works. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. James, can you ask position 11? Hold on. Can you ask the other gentleman to come in?
Yes.
It's Barkley.
All right. So we'll just stay on 4 South.
Yes, please.
Hey, are you Mr. Barkley?
Yes, sir.
Hello, Mr. Barkley. I'm Judge McBurney. How you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
I'm doing medium. I'm hungry right now, but that is not your problem. All right. Who is representing Mr. Barkley?
I am, Your Honor.
Ms. Primovic. And Ms. Beza, are you on the hook for the state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Great. Well, let's go on the record for Mr. Barkley's case. It is position 11, 17 SC 155350. Mr. Barkley is on the calendar today for a probation revocation hearing of some sort. He's got a bunch of cases. The allegation is that Mr. Barkley committed a new offense of DUI a year ago in Fulton County. And hold on, I'm gonna hear from you. And maybe he also failed to report, but that would have been 2 years ago. So I am focused more on, I guess, the DUI from a year ago. And there's apparently a second case. Maybe it's expired. But Justice LaGrua signed at the end of December a same warrant, different case for Mr. Barkley, a 10 SC case. So we'll just want to make sure, however we're resolving this, if Mr. Barkley has 2 open cases, we deal with both so he doesn't get tripped up later. Ms. Primovic, do you need the other case number?
I have them, Your Honor.
The 10 SC?
This would have the 10 SC
Great.
95171.
That is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me what Mr. Barkley wants to do today.
Your Honor, I believe this is a consent to revoke 5 months and credit from April 12th, 2021, when he was originally arrested, and reinstate the probation.
Mr. Barkley, have you been in jail since April of this year?
Yes, sir.
That's a long time. Okay. Ms. Beza, 5-month revocation, reinstate the balance, credit for time served. Is that your understanding?
That is my understanding.
Officer Malud, how much time remains on the 10 SC case? Oh, it's not Officer Malud. That was all morning.
I was like, wow, we got her again.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry. Ms. Crawford, colleague of Officer Malud, how much time remains on the 10 SC case?
Judge, on the 10 SC case, he has 12 years, 5 months, and 15 days remaining.
Okay, and on the 17 SC case?
The 17 SC case, there's 10 months and 28 days remaining.
What are the charges? Oh, I have the charges right here. Oh, I don't understand how there's that much probation for the 10 SC case, but I trust your numbers. Okay.
It was Justice LaGrua, Your Honor.
Oh, one of those. Okay. Good old Justice LaGrua. Mr. Barkley, your lawyer is recommending, and the state is agreeing with it, that I revoke 5 months, which you've basically already served. This would pretty much get you out. Do you have a place to go when you are released?
Yes, yes, I do. I haven't been able to get in touch with my wife for the last few days because her birthday was just last week. And she's been having problems and stuff trying to really. My house got sold.
Oh.
Yeah, it got sold while I was in here, and the paperwork got mixed up with the bank. So the bank reimbursed me my money. And now I'm trying, like I said, trying to get out of here now so I can get behind that business right there so I can make sure my family in this, stable place, man, because it's kind of hard right now.
So you don't live on Monterey Avenue anymore?
No, I don't.
Because that got sold?
It got sold.
Okay. Do you have an address? Because that's going to be one of the things that Ms. Crawford wants to get from you, is a new address.
Well, the only way I can get the address is I'm going to have to get in touch with her. But right now, my phone's off and everything. I got to go to the bank so I can sign off on the paperwork so I can get everything situated. Like I said, I really can tell you, I can give you my uncle's address.
Well, I'm going to let Ms. Crawford figure out what she's going to try to get from you, and she'll do that. Well, I find, Mr. Barkley, that because of the DUI that you got back in October of last year and driving without a valid license, that you violated the terms and conditions of your probation. I will revoke 5 months in both cases. You'll get credit from the time you were arrested. That is something that we'll be able to figure out the specific date, but it sounds like that was more than 5 months ago. I will suspend the balance in 17 SC 155350. So that case will be done. It only will have a few months left anyway. In your older case with the longer term of probation, I'll reinstate the balance. So you're going to be on probation there for a while longer until you can manage to keep your affairs in order for a few years, and then probation may seek to terminate it anyway. I will waive your supervision fee for the first 3 months while you figure out what the heck is going on with your house and your wife and all that. But after a few months, you'll need to start paying that supervision fee, which means you'll need to start working again, okay?
Yeah, oh yeah, well, I ain't got no problem with working. It's just like I said, this little hangover here, that's basically it. That's it.
Okay. Well, you're going to have a chance to show me that's really what you mean. Ms. Crawford, I'll let you ask what you need to of Mr. Barkley so you can get as I guess, good information as possible about contacting him.
And Mr. Barkley, do you know where to report when you're released?
Yes,
I'm going to
ma'am.
give him that information.
Thank you,
Mr.
ma'am.
Barkley, I'm Ms. Crawford from probation. I need to get, I know you said you didn't have an address or anything. I need to get a telephone number and a possible address from you. And then once you get stable, you can update it with your probation officer.
Yes, ma'am. It'll be 1497 Mosley Place.
What's that street?
Mosley Place,
What city is that?
Atlanta.
And the zip code?
It's 30318. I'm so,
And
30314. My fault.
30314. Okay. Do you have a telephone number?
It will be 470 659 659.
Or what about your uncle? This address, do you have his telephone number and his name?
I don't have his phone number. I'm giving you my wife's phone number. That way I know they can definitely get in touch with me. Because I more than likely, as soon as I get out there, I'm going to get my phone and everything. All that.
Okay, so give me her name and her telephone number.
Her name is Chantil Flo.
What's the last name?
Floyd. Floyd.
Okay, and her her telephone number is 470-659. And what was the last 4 digits?
5484.
Okay. As for your reporting, you're going to report to 276 Memorial Drive. I don't know if someone there can write it. You know where that is. And I won't give you a date, but I will tell you 48 hours after you release, I need you to report to probation. So if you get out on a Wednesday, you can't report on Friday. So it's Monday through Thursday. So report Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday between 9 a.m. and 12 a.m., 48 hours after your release. Okay. You have any questions for me?
Basically, I'm going to gather. My niece had called y'all. I think she had talked to somebody. I don't know exactly who she talked to, and that's who I got the information about me going to court today.
Okay, I can give you a telephone number if you have someone there that can write it down for you. I don't know if Lieutenant Dooley can write it down or somebody can write it down. That way, if you haven't.
Hold tight. Let me see if I can get somebody to give a pen real quick.
Are we done with?
No, Judge, he's getting.
Okay, no, we're good. We're good. I just wasn't sure there was a pause. And I didn't want to make people wait.
Okay.
Oh, here you go. So what is it?
470
470
303 6860. It's Miss Crawford. Miss Crawford. And also could you write down for him to report 48 hours after his release?
Thank you, Miss Crawford.
You're welcome. And that's it for me if you don't have anything else.
All right. I'm done. All right, Mr. Barkley, I'll sign this paperwork today or tomorrow, and you should be getting out soon thereafter. If it's Friday and you're still there, you should reach out to Ms. Primovic to figure out what's going on, okay?
We'll check the booking sheets.
Yeah, good. All right. Thank you.
Take care, sir.
All right, 6 North, position 7.
Mr. Loomis?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did I pronounce your last name correctly?
Yes.
Great. I'm Judge McBurney. Who is representing Mr. Loomis?
Your Honor, Ms. Wood talked to him earlier this week, and he said he was hiring a Durante Partridge.
Okay. Mr. Loomis, any success yet in hiring Mr. Partridge?
I haven't been able to contact him recently, but my father said that he was contacting him the day before yesterday. So I was kind of hoping that my father arranged everything for me.
Let me see if is anyone here for Mr. Loomis? You are. Okay, you've got family here. Who do we have? Mom. And 3 brothers. Got a whole crew here for you, Mr. Loomis. Your mother is here and 3 of your brothers. Ma'am, do you have an update on anyone being hired to represent your son?
Yes. The lawyer is.
Is it not Mr. Partridge?
No, it's not.
Okay, different lawyer. Okay, and he has been hired or he has? All right, let me pull up the case just to see if anyone has filed an entry yet. So Mr. Akinyele still has time, and we'll just need to bring Mr. Loomis back, although it could be Mr. Akinyele is comfortable waiving arraignment, then we don't need to bring Mr. Loomis back just for that piece. Nope, no entry of appearance yet. This is all still real new. The indictment is not even a month old yet. Mr. Loomis, you may not have been able to hear what your family was saying because they are pretty far from the microphone, but one of your brothers indicated that the family has retained a different lawyer, not Mr. Partridge, but a gentleman whose last name is Akinyele, another well-known defense attorney in the community. If he's been retained, he needs to file an entry of appearance. That's the way he proves he's doing what he's been paid to do. Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's just saying.
Okay, he's not late, but he's going to want to do something soon.
He was trying to get contact for him to, I guess, for the case.
Okay, no, that can actually be what happens today to enter the plea of not guilty so that the case starts moving, and then Mr. Akinyele enters his appearance and all the communications shift from the public defender to him. That's your understanding of how it should work? Okay, the exact understanding. All right. So Ms. Patel, Ms. Primovic, would that be one of you who would be waiving arraignment on behalf of Mr. Loomis, or how do we do that?
Sure, Your Honor. We haven't talked to him about doing that because when he said he was hiring a private attorney, we didn't.
You backed off.
Yes, sir. I could, if we can do a.
We can easily do breakout rooms, right, but it would be easier for Ms. Patel because she's not sitting here in court. Are you still with us, Ms. Patel?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm here.
Would you mind speaking with Mr. Loomis about waiving arraignment or not waiving arraignment? Because at this time, he still doesn't have hired counsel?
Not a problem, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Loomis, I'm going to try to move you into a breakout room. I think I'm able to do that. That's a private, confidential room. What you and Ms. Patel talk about, no one else can hear or see. When you're done, I'll know you're done because Ms. Patel will have emerged, and I'll pull you out of that breakout room and we can get on the record. I mean, we're not taking this down. You can tell me directly, Ms. Patel can, whether you're waiving arraignment and ready to have this case move forward, or if you need me to read into the record what the charges are, et cetera. But you should chat with her about that. And then Mr. Akinyele will take over whenever he files his entry of appearance. Does that make sense?
Okay.
All right, let me see if I can do this. right, I think he's in the breakout room.
I think they are.
He's gone. It worked. Okay.
So can we do 2 North?
Sure.
Brian Brown.
Yes, ma'am. We will do 2 North, Brian Brown, position 9. All right.
I wonder if that's Shamo.
That's Ms. Patel's case, Your
All right. How about we do 7 South?
Yeah,
What position is that?
that was back position number 1.
Position number 1, Mr. Webb. Let's do that. Mr. Walker's been very patient. So we'll do that. 7 South. Mr. Walker, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Thank you for being so patient. We've got Mr. Webb with us. Mr. Webb, can you hear me?
I can, Your Honor. Can you hear me?
I can. Mr. Webb is your lawyer, Mr. Walker, and he has been able to join us. There were some technical reasons why he didn't get the information today to be on the call, but he works with Ms. Bryant, or worked with Ms. Bryant, who was handling your case before it was indicted. And so he'll handle this indicted case. I mentioned you've got a few unindicted cases as well. I don't know what's going to happen with those, but we've got this one to deal with. Mr. Webb, we got 2 things. One, we need to see if Mr. Walker is waiving arraignment. And then 2, Mr. Walker wanted you to know that the 2 alleged victims in this case are, 1, the mother of his child or children, and his stepdaughter. And according to Mr. Walker, they both are not interested in pursuing these charges. And I promised him that I'd let you know that because he shared that with me before you joined the call.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate that information. We
Sure.
we'll waive formal arraignment and enter a plea of not guilty.
All right. So, Mr. Walker, all that means is that Mr. Webb is going to file an entry of appearance and a waiver of arraignment. He'll start getting the discovery, the information about your case from the prosecutor, Ms. Beza, who you heard earlier today. And then he'll get with you to say, this is what we're looking at. I'm sure he's going to want to talk to the mother of your children as well as your stepdaughter, and he can do that. Yes, sir.
Is there any way possible that I can get receive a contact number on Mr. Webb, and can I give him my
Yes.
and can I give Mr. Webb my child's mother number too as well?
Why don't you do that right now?
That's fine.
My child's mother number is Quintisha Parks. Her number is 470-445-6759. Again, it's 470-445-6759.
Got it.
Home number would be 404-438-0274. 438-0274.
All right.
And can I get a contact number on you, Mr. Webb, please, sir?
Yes, is it all right if I give it to him, Your Honor?
Sure, if you're comfortable with that number.
No, I'm fine. It's 404.
Yes, sir.
795.
Yes, sir.
2500. Should be
Thank
easy
you,
to
sir.
remember. 404-795-2500.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I'll be.
So, Mr. Walker, Mr. Webb will be getting in touch with you soon so you guys can meet and start talking strategy about your case. Reminder, you've got 3 other unindicted matters. If they get indicted, they'll probably come here because they would follow the oldest case. And then we'll have other work to do. And unless you hire someone, Mr. Webb will be handling those cases as well.
Yes, sir.
And Your Honor,
Another question, Your Honor.
Yes, and then Ms. Beza. Mr. Walker first.
Is it any type of way that I can get all these cases handled at once?
Yes, they need to get indicted or charged, or if you're interested in resolving everything and you and your lawyer talk about that, you can do what we call waiving indictment. And that's a form that your lawyer would fill out and you'd agree to it saying, I don't need a grand jury to see this stuff. I want to work it all out at once. And that would enable the assistant district attorney to grab all your cases and see if we could sort them all out. But you and Mr. Webb need to talk about that first, okay?
Yes, sir.
All
Your
right.
Honor, you want me to complete a written waiver of arraignment and email it to you, to Ms. Nelson?
I do. If you have that form, you should do that. If you don't have that form, you should get it from Ms. Nelson and send it back.
Okay, I may have it. I did one recently, so I'll check.
We have not changed our form. So if you've got what you have before, it's the same one. Ms. Beza.
This is a domestic violence case, and I'm looking at the bond order from June 7th of 2021. I didn't know if Mr. Webb wanted to speak with Mr. Walker off the record about this, but he's to have, per the order, no contact directly or indirectly with Ms. Quintisha Parks.
Okay, that's an important thing for Mr. Walker to keep in mind, and Mr. Webb will need to figure out how best to navigate that. Of course, Mr. Webb can talk with her.
Of course, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
I'll definitely.
I'm talking about from
the jail.
Sure.
Yeah. No, I understand, and it may be that if we have a bond hearing, evidence is brought to light that the conditions of bond were not complied with, which would make it hard to get bond on other cases. Mr. Walker, last thing, I'm going to let you go.
It's unable for me to not be in contact with my child's mother because she's the one to make sure that I'm financially stable while I'm here every week, make sure I go to the store and stuff and set my visits up.
So that's a fair question, and you and Mr. Webb are going to want to talk about that because Mr. Webb may want to ask to have your bond modified so that you can have at least telephone contact with the mother of your children for all the reasons you mentioned. But if the bond order says no contact, that judgment, you don't call, you don't write, you don't even send her a message through a pigeon or something. You got to leave her alone. That may be impractical, in which case you should talk to Mr. Webb about it, and then he will know how to get that in front of me, and I'll figure out what to do. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Your Honor. Do you need me for anything else, Your Honor? I'm happy to stay.
I don't think you have any other cases on here. I trust we'll see you tomorrow with
Yes,
some
sir.
of your hard to find clients.
Yes, sir.
All right.
We will.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Lieutenant, where would you like me to go next?
We only have the two cases left on position 9 and position 7.
So I thought also, Ms. Nelson, we were doing the guy who wanted the Ferretta hearing.
Yes, Ramel Williams. Yes,
Yeah.
that was sent over as well.
Okay, maybe you can work with Lieutenant Dooley on that.
He might have been transported. Check with the deputy in the courtroom, Judge.
Oh, he might be in the building.
Correct.
Okay.
And Your Honor, did we do position 4?
He's still in Cherokee County. He was released to Cherokee and he hasn't been brought back.
Thank you. Yes.
Wait, so number 4 is, you've been here all day. Number 4 is, well, yeah, you can go do what you said you wanted to do. Number 4 is in custody somewhere?
In Cherokee County, Your Honor.
Okay.
You released him on 9/9. He's still there with a bond of $2,000.
In custody in Cherokee. Okay. It's somehow related to a case that's 21 years old. I've got a related case and it's a 0 SC case. That, who knows what that means? That could be crazy talk, but
I don't think so. That was a burglary, criminal trespass here in 2000.
okay. Who knows? So Mr. McDonald, when you say I released him, I don't know that I've ever met him.
9/9, maybe pre-indictment, maybe.
Okay, he may have
9/9.
gotten a bond,
Got a bond. Let me-
but
I'll
then
look-
Cherokee grabbed him.
Right, I'll look that up for you.
So with that, Your Honor, may I be?
Yes, great seeing you as always. Take care.
John, if I'd have known, I would have told you. I didn't know why you were here.
That's all right.
Sorry.
Good to have someone from the state in the courtroom. Yeah, the only thing that is in Odyssey for this case is the indictment and today's calendar date. So that
I'll
must
look
be a
up the CP.
CP bond.
Yeah, I'll look that up.
Thank you, Judge.
You bet.
Miss Wood found him in Cherokee.
Okay. It
Confirmed
is,
it.
I would hope he has a bond on this case because the alleged ag stalking occurred in August of 2018. So I'm amazed people tracked him down. All right, so we've got position 9 and we need to get Mr. Loomis back in. Did Ms. Patel return? Yes. So I may need to pull, what was he in? 6 North?
Mr.
Yeah, let me kick him out.
Mr. Loomis. Yeah.
Yeah,
7.
I think I can kick him out of the breakout room. 6 North, leave. Mr. Loomis, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
There you are. All right. Mr. Loomis, did you have a chance to speak with Ms. Patel about where your case is right now?
Yes, I did.
Ms. Patel, is Mr. Loomis waiving arraignment or does he want to be formally arraigned?
Your Honor, he's waiving arraignment.
Okay. Will you enter a waiver of arraignment on his behalf while we're waiting for Mr. Akinyele to file his entry of appearance?
I can do it on Miss Wood's behalf.
Yes.
I'll fill it out on her behalf.
Thank you. Please do that so that he has counsel of record, and then that can always be replaced by Mr. Akinyele when he gets around to filing his entry of appearance. I guess, Ms. Beza, if you're making notes for Ms. Hall, she should hold off on sending discovery to Ms. Wood, at least for a week or so, because if Mr. Akinyele is coming in, let's get discovery to him rather than, I sent it to the wrong person and everything has to be reset.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So that's position 7. So I've got only position 9 left. That must be this patient guy right here in 2 North. Yeah. So Mr. Loomis, you're all set. You will hopefully hear from Mr. Akinyele. If not, you may want to reach out to your family to say, I haven't heard anything from the guy. Okay.
Okay, for sure.
All right. You're good to go.
Thank you.
Mr. Brown, can you hear me?
Good morning, Judge Barney. How are you this morning?
I'm well. You've been waiting so long, you don't even know it's afternoon yet, but it's afternoon now. How are you?
Yes, I'm doing all right.
Good. Mr. Brown, you are on here for a probation revocation. Let me figure out who's handling your case.
Ms. Patel.
That's correct, Your Honor. I'll be handling Mr. Brown's case.
Excellent. He knew who was in charge. And Ms. Beza, you're handling this for the state?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let me get the petition. Okay, let's go on the record. This is 18 SC 161997, State versus Brian Brown. Ms. Patel is representing Mr. Brown. Ms. Beza is representing the state. And the allegation in the petition is that Mr. Brown was released from our county jail in July and did not report to either Atlanta or DeKalb probation or his officer since he was released. Tried to reach mom, no luck. Field visit at the last known address, no luck. And then he had sort of vanished. If that's it for the petitions, then it is a technical violation of, I guess we call it absconding. Is that your understanding of the violation, Ms. Patel?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Is Mr. Brown admitting to that or contesting it?
He's admitting to it.
All right. What is your recommendation as to what ought to happen with Mr. Brown as a result of that?
Your Honor, the state and I had a negotiated recommendation of revoking 3 months. Mr. Brown is just very terrible at being vigilant with probation, and he admits that. He did receive the probation officer's card at his mother's residence. He was at work, and was calling the Fulton office, which I told him is not what he was supposed to do. And since he was on the up and up with pretrial, he was under the impression that that would take care of probation, which I explained that they are two completely unrelated agencies and that he's being monitored by both and that he's got to stay compliant with both. But he is not disputing the fact that, you know, he could have done more to have made sure that he was compliant, like going to the probation office every day until someone would see him. I think he went by once and was turned away and then just never went back.
Got it. So, Mr. Brown, you know, you've been on probation for a while. It is not probation's job. It's not your mom's job. It's not Ms. Patel's job to stay plugged in with probation. It is Brian Brown's job to let them know, here I am. I've moved. I live here. And if they're reaching out, you need to be not hard to find.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But I knew you knew that. You just need to act on that knowledge, because otherwise, man, you can get stuck in jail like this. And I assume that's not what you want to do.
No, I'm hoping when I get out, I still got my job, but.
What was your job?
I had got another job when I got out this time, and I was doing maintenance work over at a hotel.
Okay. Well, I hope you've got it too. The good news is there are a whole lot of jobs right now because people are being picky or they're afraid to go back to work or who knows what. So I hope if that job's not waiting for you, you can find something else. Ms. Beza, anything you want to add in connection to Mr. Brown's case?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, Mr. Brown, I find that you did violate your probation by absconding. I don't mean you moved to France or anything like that, but they tried to reach out to you and you were, they couldn't find you. And that's really, they need to have a phone number to call and that gets to you, or an address where they can send something. And then you need to know who you're supposed to call back. And if you've got any question about that, Ms. Patel can give you good advice as to who's the right person to call or what's the right number to use, okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to revoke 3 months of your probation. You will get credit for the time that you've been in. I'll reinstate the balance. It looks like you're only going to have about a year left, maybe a little bit more than that. So you're wrapping things up. I hope you can do what you need to do. But we've had revocations before, and we need to get you heading in a good direction, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Crawford, do you need information from Mr. Brown?
Mr. Brown, are you still on Calico Court in Lithonia?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So after your release, I need you to report to probation 48 hours after your release, okay? You know the times, Monday through Thursday from 9 to 12.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And where are you reporting to probation? Fulton or DeKalb?
He reports to Fulton.
Fulton, okay.
Why would he report to Fulton if his address is in Lithonia?
Because his Officer Galen Joyce, and he's located at 276 Memorial. So I guess that's where he was reporting from the beginning,
right.
and that's where.
We'll stick with Fulton. We'll stick with Fulton County. Y'all.
Okay, I'm surprised by that. I was sort of, when he said Fulton, like, come on, Mr. Brown, we just went over this. So, Ms. Crawford, you're saying even though Mr. Brown lives in DeKalb, is Lithonia in DeKalb County?
Yes, that's DeKalb.
So even though he lives in DeKalb County, he should go to Fulton County.
Well, he has been reporting to Fulton County, so I didn't want to change it because he has a rapport with Officer Joyce.
Great.
So I just gonna keep it as what he's been reporting from the
Okay.
beginning.
I'm fine with that. I just want to make sure he doesn't get sideways with DCS because he shows up in Fulton and he says, oh, by the way, I live in Lithonia, and they say, get out of here.
Well, that's the address they have on file in his file, the Calico in Lithonia.
Okay. So you're right, Mr. Brown. You go to the Fulton office and you're asking for that officer you've been working with, and let's make this go more smoothly, okay?
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Ms. Patel, anything else on behalf of your client?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you for that. Thank you, Ms. Beza, for handling this case.
Thank you.
All right, you're free to go, Mr. Brown. I need you to stay on, Ms. Patel, because we need to figure out where Ramel Williams is. Do we have Ramel Williams in the building? Deputy? Yeah, can you check? Because he's not on this Zoom call. He was supposed to be having a hearing, and I just need to know if he's here or if Lieutenant Dooley was supposed, it wasn't on Lieutenant Dooley's calendar, but so I don't know what's happening.
There was a separate calendar sent to the jail with notes indicating he was to be transported to AD.
Okay, great. I'll have them check to see if he's in the building.
And Your Honor, may I be excused?
So we need a prosecutor to stay here until we know what's happening. If Ramel Williams is having his Feretta hearing, I think we ought to have someone from the state in the room. If you can get a substitute, that's great. But let's just figure out, if he's not in the building, we're stuck. But the jail did get a calendar asking to have him brought over with the drug court folks.
Oh, I can stay, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Your Honor, I think that completes my business. Lieutenant Dooley.
So, Lieutenant, thank you. If you don't mind just holding on for a sec, we're trying to figure out where this Ramel Williams guy is.
Okay.
If he did not get brought over, we may need to see what's happening on your end of things. Do you mind just holding on for a couple minutes? The deputy here is, I think, radioing to see if Williams is in the building.
Okay, and I was gonna pull up the pull sheet to see if he was on that as well.
Thank you.
All right. And his name was Ramel, what now?
Williams. And we can get you a case number or a booking number if you need
A
it.
booking number would be great.
Is Nelson?
It's booking number 1903002.
Okay, hold on, please.
All right, Lieutenant Dooley's looking at the pull sheets.
He is located in 7 South and he's not on the pull sheet.
Okay, so does it make more sense for us to try to get him here another day, or can he, because I've got 7 South Booth 1 for the rest of the day, getting him that way?
let me call the floor and, but he's on 7 South, so he would need an escort. And, hold please, let me see if I can get somebody.
It is okay if that won't work. We'll get him on another calendar. I don't want to do anything unorthodox, and today has worked smoothly. I just wasn't sure. So 7 South, those folks need escorts.
Yeah, they can't just be called out of the booth and directed to go somewhere else.
Got it.
And we still have misdemeanor court going on. I'm just gonna go try to help with them. So do you mind putting it on another day?
I do not. His hearing is going to be difficult anyway. It would be better if he's in person. He wants to represent himself.
Okay.
And so we need to have a conversation, ideally face to face, while I try to tell him that's a terrible idea, but it's his right. So we will get him in here on another calendar in person.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Not a problem. Thanks, Lieutenant. This works smoothly.
Awesome.
All right. Bye. Thank you, Ms. Patel, Ms. Beza, for staying on. You guys are good to go.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Have a great
Judge.
day.
All right. I'll see everyone tomorrow at our big trial calendar.
Yeah.
Your Honor, my 2 cases did resolve, so I will not be there. Marciana Davis was a null pros.
You had only 2 cases on that entire calendar?
Michael Reynolds, I had to conflict off of. And then Ryan Williams, I asked to have continued until January to try to get an expert.
I had to put more of your cases on the next calendar.
There's plenty of them on the next one.
All right. Sounds good.
For the calendar.
Yeah. Well, we'll miss you tomorrow, but think plea as you're thinking.